I can see their little path in the snow, so I continue to follow around the next bend and the next bend and the next bend for about an hour. And then I remember, I think I read somewhere that there are wildcats out here that love women in purple jackets with the power bar in there. And then all of a sudden I came to this huge mountain. And at that point I started to get really scared, because it got really dark as I got deeper into the forest, and now it is really snowing, and I'm quite certain this is what they call a blizzard. I'm not real sure, but it feels like that to me. And as I looked at that mountain, part of me looked back and said, you need to go back to the safety zone. You need to retrace your steps. You need to go where you know you're secure. Because my God, if you die out here, your husband will kill you. He would. Isn't that funny how when we're in our worst situations, we think of our loved ones? And I'm standing at the base of that mountain. And women, when you're in those unfamiliar places and you have those opportunities to take risks, that's when we've got the opportunity to test ourselves. And in that moment, I turned and decided to head back to the lodge. And then I heard this magnificent little voice in my own head that said, "No, Sharon, that's what you always do. You almost get there and you quit." I'm the woman that sets the treadmill for 20 minutes and gets off at 19, just so I can feel guilty about it all night. And you women know exactly what I'm talking about. We work ourselves to death, and then when they offer us the promotion, we say, "I don't think I can do it because I got a family. I don't think I can manage it." I hear these women tell me these stories all the time. Or we go in for that evaluation and we forget or fail to ask for what we know we deserve in terms of pay. Or we go in for that interview of a lifetime and we spend more time telling the person on the other side of the desk what we're not instead of what we are. And so on that day, in that moment, I made a decision that never again would I stop or sabotage or look back to the opportunity I missed, or the job I could have had, or the book I should have written, or any of it. And I'm asking you today, and I'm challenging you today, to think about the times that you do that, and to develop an awareness so that you too can make a decision. Because it is absolutely about a decision. We have choices as women. And we can do whatever it is we set our minds and hearts to do. I have seen it across this country, and I think of women who have stood before me with tears in their eyes. Widows who have taken over their husbands' companies and knew nothing about those companies and are now running them and raising 3 boys. And I think of a woman who will never leave my heart in Kentucky who came up to me at 10 o'clock and told me how she came home one day from work and found her 16-year-old and 18-year-old son murdered in her living room. And this woman was just absolute grace. And she got up every day and went to work and was rearing her other 2 children. You are out there every day doing extraordinary things. But we've been conditioned to believe that we should not acknowledge those strengths. It's an interesting thing. You see, men have no problem talking about their strengths, even when they don't have them. Have you ever noticed that? And so we have to learn to do a better job of that. Because I will suggest to you that whatever your mountain is, God has blessed you with specific strengths, and you are being called to something in the midst of all of that. And I began the climb that afternoon. And as I walked that hour plus, I thought about the many mountains, and the biggest Mount Everest of all. And that Mount Everest occurred on April 3rd, 1981, with the words, something is wrong with the baby.